Live updates: California battles blazes as fire tornado risk soars due to Santa Ana winds. Fire tornadoes, a dangerous force of nature. Fire tornadoes are a dangerous and destructive force of nature that can occur when wildfires are burning in areas with strong winds. These tornadoes, also known as fire whirls or fire devils, are formed when a column of hot air rises rapidly from a fire, creating a vortex that can suck in flames, smoke, and debris. Fire tornadoes can reach speeds of up to 160 kilometers per hour and can be several stories tall. What causes fire tornadoes? Fire tornadoes are typically caused by a combination of factors, including strong winds. Strong winds can create the necessary conditions for a fire tornado to form by increasing the intensity of the fire and creating a vortex of air. Hot temperatures. Hot temperatures can also contribute to the formation of fire tornadoes by creating a strong updraft of air. Dry conditions. Dry conditions can also increase the risk of fire tornadoes by allowing fires to spread more easily. The dangers of fire tornadoes. Fire tornadoes are a serious danger to firefighters, residents, and property. They can spread fires quickly. Fire tornadoes can spread fires quickly and unpredictably, making it difficult for firefighters to contain them. Damage property. Fire tornadoes can damage or destroy homes, businesses, and other structures. Injure or kill people. Fire tornadoes can injure or kill people who are caught in their path. How to stay safe during a fire tornado. If you are in an area that is experiencing a wildfire, it is important to be aware of the dangers of fire tornadoes. If you see a fire tornado forming, you should seek shelter immediately. Find a sturdy building or shelter and stay inside until the fire tornado has passed. Stay away from windows. If you are inside, stay away from windows to avoid being injured by flying debris. Listen to emergency alerts. Stay tuned to local news and weather reports for updates on the fire tornado situation. What to do after a fire tornado. If you have been affected by a fire tornado, there are a few things you can do to help yourself and your community recover. These include checking on your loved ones. Make sure that your loved ones are safe and accounted for. Assessing the damage. Check your property for damage and make any necessary repairs. Helping your community. Volunteer your time to help your community recover from the fire tornado. Eventually, fire tornadoes are a dangerous and destructive force of nature that can occur during wildfires. By understanding the dangers of fire tornadoes and taking steps to protect yourself, you can help to stay safe during a wildfire. Imagine a towering column of fire, spinning wildly in the air, consuming everything in its path as flames rage out of control. This isn't the stuff of movies or fictional disasters, it's the reality California faces when the ferocious Santa Ana winds sweep through the region. This natural phenomenon is increasing the risk of fire tornadoes, a rare yet terrifying consequence of wildfires. But it's not just fire tornadoes. The entire state is once again under siege, battling blazes that seem to spread faster than firefighters can contain them. In the wake of extreme temperatures and dry conditions, the situation is becoming dire. As experts warn, this winter might be shaping up to be one of the most dangerous fire seasons in recent memory. Today, we are diving deep into the science behind the Santa Ana winds, exploring how these winds can trigger not only massive wildfires but also fire tornadoes, and how California is coping with the growing threat. Point 1. Understanding the Santa Ana winds. To grasp the gravity of California's fire season, we first need to understand the Santa Ana winds. These winds, which typically occur in the fall and winter months, originate in the high deserts of the Great Basin. As the air moves westward, it gets compressed and heated as it descends through the mountains and into the coastal valleys. By the time these winds hit cities like Los Angeles or San Diego, they can reach speeds of up to 60 miles per hour or more. But why is this such a big deal? The heat generated by these winds dries out the vegetation, turning what was once moist, healthy plant life into dry tinder ready to ignite. Combine that with the intense gusts of wind, and the conditions become perfect for wildfire outbreaks. Historically, the Santa Ana winds have contributed to some of the largest fires in California's history. In 2003, the Cedar Fire burned over 280,000 acres, while the 2017 Thomas Fire scorched 281,000 acres, both driven by the fury of these winds. As the climate changes and the region faces prolonged droughts, the intensity and frequency of these winds are becoming more extreme, exacerbating the wildfire risk even further. Point 2. Wildfires, the growing threat. California is no stranger to wildfires, but in recent years, fire seasons have gotten longer and more destructive. What used to be a few months of intense wildfire activity is now a year-round concern. And it's not just the fire frequency that's concerning, but the scale. 2020 alone saw the state battling 10,000 wildfires, with more than 4 million acres burned. But the fires are not just about sheer size in modern history. The speed at which they spread is also unprecedented. Fueled by dry vegetation, steep terrain, and high winds, these fires can double in size within hours. This rapid spread places immense pressure on fire crews who are often fighting to protect lives, property, and natural resources simultaneously. In some cases, entire communities are forced to evacuate in the middle of the night, with very little time to prepare or escape. The combination of urban sprawl and wildland areas only heightens the risks. Millions of people live in what's called the wildland-urban interface, where homes and businesses are surrounded by forests, grasslands, and brush. These areas are the most vulnerable during fire seasons, and as development continues, the stakes get higher. It's not just about losing homes, but entire communities being displaced by these out-of-control flames. Point 3. The alarming rise of fire tornadoes. One of the most terrifying phenomena associated with wildfires is the fire tornado, or firenado. While these are rare events, they have become more common as the severity of wildfires increases due to climate change and extreme weather conditions. A fire tornado occurs when intense heat from a wildfire combines with powerful winds, creating a rotating column of fire and smoke. These fiery vortices can reach speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, and their height can surpass 100 feet. In 2020, a fire tornado in California's Creek Fire was spotted and documented by firefighters, a chilling reminder of just how unpredictable and dangerous these occurrences can be. Scientists explain that fire tornadoes are formed when the heat from a fire causes the air to rise rapidly, creating a vacuum effect. As the hot air rises, it draws in cooler air from the surrounding area, creating a rotating updraft. If there's sufficient wind, the rotation can increase, forming a fire tornado. Fire tornadoes are extremely dangerous because of their unpredictable nature. Unlike regular fires that spread in a more linear fashion, a fire tornado can travel in any direction, picking up burning debris and causing devastation in its path. They can also act as fire starters themselves, igniting new areas far from the original fire front. The most intense fire tornadoes can take entire communities by surprise. In 2018, the Carr Fire near Redding, California, produced one of the most destructive fire tornadoes on record. The phenomenon was responsible for numerous injuries and several fatalities, adding a new layer of urgency to the fight against California's wildfires. Point 4. The role of climate change. There is no denying that climate change has played a significant role in exacerbating California's wildfire crisis. Warmer temperatures, prolonged droughts, and reduced snowfall are all contributing factors to the increased intensity of wildfires. According to the National Interagency Fire Center, the number of acres burned by wildfires in the United States has more than doubled over the past 40 years. California has become ground zero for this escalating crisis, with scientists pointing to both rising global temperatures and regional climate shifts. The state's Mediterranean climate, characterized by hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters, is becoming even more arid due to changing weather patterns. This means that vegetation, which historically helped act as a natural buffer to fires, is drying out faster, making it more susceptible to igniting. Moreover, Rising temperatures exacerbate evaporation, reducing the moisture content in soils, and creating a perfect storm for wildfires. The longer the dry seasons become, the greater the chances of massive blazes that will fuel not only fire tornadoes but also more frequent, intense wildfires across the state. These changes are expected to continue, with projections indicating a rise in both the frequency and severity of wildfires. Point 5. Firefighting efforts and challenges. While California's fire crews are among the best trained in the world, fighting fires in such extreme conditions presents significant challenges. The unpredictable nature of wildfires, combined with the rising risk of fire tornadoes, makes containment incredibly difficult. Wildfires can burn in multiple directions at once, and when high winds are at play, they can jump over fire breaks, making the efforts to contain them futile. Additionally, the state faces a shortage of resources. Over the years, California has brought in firefighters from other states and even other countries to help with wildfire containment. However, as the fires have become more frequent and intense, these resources are stretched thinner, and the risk of burnout for firefighters has grown. On top of that, the rapidly changing weather conditions often leave little room for firefighters to adjust their strategies, forcing them to work under extremely high-pressure circumstances. Firefighting helicopters and airplanes are used to drop water and retardant onto flames, but these tools are not enough on their own. Ground crews, who must navigate rugged terrain, often face extreme heat and the constant threat of fast-moving fires. In some areas, firefighting is an all-out race against time, where every second counts, and the window to stop the flames before they reach populated areas is closing quickly. The role of technology in modern firefighting has become more critical. Tools such as drones, infrared imaging, and sophisticated modeling software are helping fire crews predict fire behavior and identify hotspots more quickly. However, it's clear that technological advancements alone won't be enough if the underlying factors driving these wildfires, including the unpredictable power of fire tornadoes, aren't addressed. Point 6. The future of fire prevention. So, what can be done to reduce the impact of these catastrophic fires and mitigate the risk of fire tornadoes? The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. However, California's government and various agencies are focusing on several strategies to reduce fire risks and enhance preparedness. First and foremost, controlled burns or prescribed fires are being used more often to reduce excess vegetation and prevent larger, uncontrollable wildfires. While controversial, prescribed burns can help reduce the amount of fuel available for a wildfire, thereby making future fires easier to manage. However, they must be carefully planned and executed to avoid exacerbating the risk of out-of-control flames. Another major focus is improving building codes and fire-resistant infrastructure in areas at risk. By using non-flammable materials for homes and creating defensible space around properties, the chances of homes surviving a wildfire increase significantly. Fire-resistant roofing and the clearing of brush from around homes are common practices in areas like Santa Barbara and Malibu, which are particularly vulnerable to wildfires. Public education and community preparedness are also critical. Encouraging residents to have evacuation plans, clear brush around their homes, and stay informed during fire season can make a big difference. As technology continues to evolve, tools like early warning systems, satellite monitoring, and better data sharing between local, state, and federal agencies will help firefighters stay one step ahead of the flames. So, California's battle with wildfires and fire tornadoes is far from over. With the powerful forces of nature aligning to create a perfect storm of extreme winds, dry vegetation, and rising temperatures, the stakes have never been higher. But through innovation, preparation, and the tireless work of firefighters and communities, there's hope for a future where these infernos can be controlled and eventually prevented. For now, the state remains on edge, facing a fire season unlike any before. The question is, can California, and the rest of the world, adapt quickly enough to avoid an even darker future? The answer lies in how we address the root causes and prepare for the new climate realities we now face.